Welcome to ULTRAKILL. In this game, your objective is to kill, and do whatever the hell this is. Like, seriously, what am I looking at? Anyways, I'm sure you know about the various movement tech that you can do in this game. You can move, dash, wall jump, slide, and various other things. But what if, say, V1 was crippled? Can you beat ULTRAKILL with only sliding? Now, before I start the challenge, there are some things I want to mention. Firstly, my goal is to be completing the entire campaign of the game. This means I will not be doing any secret missions or prime sanctums, for obvious reasons. Movement-wise, I'm not allowed to move or dash. Movements such as sliding, wall jumping, and other methods are allowed. Lastly, I will not be P-ranking every level as I have a massive skill issue. My goal is just to complete the campaign, not P-rank it. Anyways, that should be it. So, without further ado, let's begin. Did you really think we'd skip this? Right off the bat, we're introduced to our first obstacle. We need to jump up to the platform above in order to proceed. But since we can't dash or jump to get past ledges, this becomes extremely difficult. Luckily, we managed to escape the 3-foot wall and proceed onward. Well, after trying to move a bit. Finally, after about 10 minutes, I managed to get a lucky wall cling, and I made it up. The rest of the level is very easy, and we managed to complete the tutorial. And now, we begin the real challenge. Starting off with 2 waves of husks, we can already tell that this is going to be a hard challenge. Due to our limited movement, it's hard to escape enemies, so we need to rely on parrying to give us most of our HP back. Danger zones such as the metal grinder are also very dangerous, as we can easily fall into them and die. Since this is the first level of the game, it isn't too difficult, but I do die a few times due to dumb mistakes. Besides the glass sections, the rest of the level isn't too difficult, so I managed to smoothly get through this level. The Maurice at the end of the level is also very easy, since he doesn't really move around that much, so we can kinda just bully him. And with that, 0-1 is done. Starting off 0-2, I think this level is going to be much easier compared to the first level due to the lack of death zones. Well, at least mostly. Arenas in this level generally aren't too difficult as long as you're careful of the small death zones that are in this level. I don't really have much to comment on in this level. I mean, it's not as hard as the first one, so yeah. I decided not to include secret counters just because they're not really necessary, and I want to see if it's possible to beat the game, not 100% it. Although I did P-rank this level, which was pretty funny considering I wasn't trying to go for it. Starting off 0-3, I am a bit worried about the obstacles in this level, not necessarily the death zones or enemies, just trying to parkour my way to the finish. most of this level isn't too bad, so I'll just speed it up to the swords machine fight. Now, I originally thought this fight was going to be very difficult, but you can literally just stand in place and parry him. So, it's actually one of the easiest bosses to beat in this game. Except I didn't realize you could do that for like 3 good attempts, so yeah, that was my bad. Anyways, with the swords machine defeated, we now unlock the best, well, one of the best guns in the game, the shotgun. The shotgun allows us to clear out a large amount of enemies, which was previously before a really, really big problem. Besides the swords machine fight, the rest of the level was fairly easy, besides this one room, which I just could not do. It took me like 5 minutes or something. I don't know why this was so hard. Anyways, with that out of the way, we bullied the swords machine once more, and finished the level. I wasn't necessarily worried about 0-4 besides the final room, which has glass tiles that can be broken into a death zone. Besides that, maybe the enemies, but there wasn't really too much to worry about here. There's not really any obstacles either. As expected, the final room did cause me some trouble, but it wasn't too bad. Finishing off the last few enemies, I proceeded onward to one of the hardest levels yet. Welcome to Hell. Well, not really Hell, right before Hell. Fun fact, the hardest part was actually right before the boss. It was getting to the boss. I immediately tried to overcharge my way to the boss, but surprisingly it actually didn't work, and I got stuck on the roof. I tried this a few more times, but it never actually worked, and I was starting to worry that this challenge might actually be impossible. Luckily, I was just really dumb, and all you had to do was just go through the obstacle course and do the overcharge there, instead of at the start. Okay, it's time for Cerberus, Guardian of Hell. Although your movement is very limited in this fight, it's still rather easy, and it's not too much of a trouble, but the same can't be said for later bosses. Although I did get rather close to dying at some times, eventually I did manage to beat the boss, and we proceeded into Hell. Welcome to Limbo. Now, just to make this a bit clear, I'm not going to be using the secret exit, as you can literally just skip the entire level. And if I can't do the secret mission, what's the point of even using the secret exit? It just seems like a bit cheesy, so just know I'm not going to be using that. Starting off 1-1, it's already pretty apparent that this is pretty easy compared to 0-5. There's not many death zones, the enemies don't straight up run at you, well, besides a few. But this is where it truly starts. The minigun is going to prove very helpful later on, especially for Cerberus and other large bosses. It's also good for clearing out smaller enemies, as you can see. There's nothing truly dangerous in this level, although I did still die to some funny mistakes. Besides that, it's an easy level. One dash 2 is pretty similar to 1-1, but some of the obstacles are a bit more difficult. The enemies, of course, they're still really easy, but for example, this next obstacle coming up. The idea is we climb up the pillars and then jump to the top door. However, since we can't, move, we can't really get up there. I was pretty stumped on this part for a while until I realized you can literally just overcharge up. I don't know why I didn't think of this earlier, but, The rest of the rooms before the fire comes is actually pretty easy. However, I do still have to deal with the enemies in the previous room because I skipped it. The cleaners, at least I think that's what they're called, not just fire guys. They're actually pretty easy to kill. I mean, it's just like killing them in the normal game. Sure, you have less movement, but they're still pretty weak, and generally you don't need to run away from them too much. If you just spam damage, they'll die. The rest of the level's pretty easy, and I know I've been saying that a lot, but trust me, it's gonna get way harder in the second layer. Welcome to my favorite level of Layer 1, 1-3. Unfortunately, I didn't go for both skulls, I just went for the blue one. Also, just to combat this, I'm not going to use the soap to insta-kill every single enemy. I could get up there with an overcharge, grab it, and then instantly kill the hideous mass, but since I'm not doing both skulls anyway, I don't want this level to be extremely easy, so I'm just going to make it a little fair for me. Compared to the other Layer 1 levels, this one was actually really difficult for me. I don't know why I died so many times. I only went for the blue one anyway. But, the lack of movement you have in this challenge is really starting to get to me. And it's going to be a lot worse moving on. I only did about 4 rooms in this levels, and I only really went over 2, but the other 2 are easy. So I'll just go over the hideous mass fight. As you can probably tell by that vile coin shot or whatever I tried to do there, I'm not the best at the game. I only have like 50 hours. But this fight was pretty easy. I mean, there is a few scary moments, and I did die once or twice, I think. It's really hard to avoid the hideous mass's shockwaves because I can't dash away from them or, move away from them in general. I have to land on the ground first in order to be able to move. So if I'm in the air and a shockwave happens, I can't really avoid that. I think when the tail grapples you also, you can't slide. I'm not 100% sure, but I think I felt that when I was fighting it, so it could be. But yeah, after 2 or 3 tries, I managed to get it and proceeded on to one of the easiest fights, you'll see. Okay, I'm gonna talk really quickly because I don't have much footage on this, and it's really fast. It's a really fast fight. Okay, so basically, you can coin punch this guy and kill him in like 5 seconds. I decided not to do that because, I wanted this video to like... Okay, sorry, I messed up the voice thing because I was going too fast and I couldn't, correlate any words. I'm not using a script or anything. This is just me purely talking over the footage. Anyways, this guy, he died really quick, okay? That's all you really gotta know. I didn't coin punch him, and I just did a normal fight, but I also just, like, absolutely destroyed him. I mean, he's not really that hard of a fight. Okay, anyways, I'll just let you watch this. I don't know what else to say. Okay then, never mind. You can't watch it because he's literally already dead. I did die to him once, but we're just gonna ignore that death and just pretend I did it first try really fast, because this is a really easy fight for some reason. Anyways, now that I have some time to breathe, we got one of the best, if not one of the best weapons for this challenge specifically, the Knuckle Blaster. It'll help us with a lot of melee, which is really... we can't run away from enemies most of the time, so it's one of the most useful things we could have gotten this challenge. Also, forgot to mention, this is one of the hardest levels we have seen so far. For some reason, I just can't do the parkour in this level. You'll see. Yeah, I just couldn't get up for some reason. It was way too difficult. I spent a lot of time trying to get up. So I tried going out the way that you use for the secret challenge or whatever. And I also couldn't do that. So I just tried to go through the normal path again, and eventually I just got it. So, I know what you might be thinking. Well, you said this was the hardest level, right? That was pretty easy. I mean, you didn't spend that much time. So, let me just show you what's next. Yeah, this is one of the hardest areas I've been in yet. Just one wrong move and you're dead. Well, not dead. You'll just fall down. But it is stupidly easy to fall down. If you get hit, get exploded, or even just slide off. It's so annoying. Yeah, let's just say I didn't have a fun time with this level. Anyways, finally proceeding through, we're not awarded with the end, but instead even more torture. These jump pads are the bane of my existence. You can easily get stuck in any of these. You can't move or dash out of the way, you can't slide, you can't wall jump. No, you are just stuck. Unless for some reason the jump pad doesn't work and then you can escape, which happens sometimes. But yeah, I just kept on having extremely dumb fails like this. Also, whatever the hell this was, I think this is a glitch or something. Anyways, after way too many deaths, I finally made it up. Anyways, we're at 2-1 now. Since there isn't really much that goes on in this level, since I skip all the enemies anyway, I want to let you listen to this amazing track. Alright, sorry I cut off the music, but this part's important. So yeah, we got the rail cannon now. We can kill enemies a lot quicker, that's for sure. I was struggling to get up and get the other fuse box for some reason, but eventually I got up there. And with that, we finished 2-2. Water in this level is very interesting. I think it would be easier to exit the water since you're a lot floatier, but I never really actually went in the water. I kind of just did the level normally without the water, so yeah, we'll never be able to figure that out. This level didn't give me too much trouble, although I did constantly die over and over. I think it's just because this level and much others in the future will be much harder than previous levels. This challenge has felt relatively easy from now on, and I do think I am kind of disappointed in the difficulty of this, but maybe it's just because I skipped a bunch of stuff, like, you know, 0-3, I just got one skull and then left. So I might do another part of this where I try to P rank every single level and then do P-1, and, you know, maybe that'll be funner. But for now, it's not too bad, at least until we get to Layer 4. I think it is going to go pretty smoothly, besides a few occasional obstacles that are really difficult to get through. I was really scared of this area going into 2-3 because I always die in this area. On like any run, I'll just not be looking at where I look and I'll fall and die. But now, for some reason, this was actually better than most of my normal playthroughs. I just decided to be extra careful and it worked. Mind Flayer. Jokes aside, I don't think mind flayers are that bad. You just need to be careful and stay away from them. Mind Flayer. That was a weird sound I made. I don't even know why I said the Mind Flayer like that. So I'm just gonna jump scare you with that sound every time we get another Mind Flayer now. Yes, I bought the screwdriver over the malicious cannon. Cry. Alright, now things get serious. Welcome to the hardest level that we will ever face. Okay, never mind. That was literally the easiest level. I'm sorry. I don't know what else to say to that. It literally played like we were just playing the Noma game. There was literally nothing that restricted our movement or... We just stood there and killed the guy. I mean, like, I feel bad for him. Anyways, yeah, I'm sorry for speeding that up. There was literally nothing that happened that entire level. Okay, but this level though, this one is much harder than the last one, trust me. The acid sucks, like, restricted movement in such a bad arena, it doesn't make a good mix. Mind Flayer. I did get pretty close to dying in this room, but ultimately I managed to make it out. I think the reason why these rooms are so easy is because restricted movement really doesn't do much. You kill them so fast anyway that it doesn't really matter. But For later layers, like layer 4 for example, the Sisyphean Insurrectionists, those guys are tanks. Let me tell you, that is gonna suck. But I think for the earlier layers, especially like, I already have the skill of someone who's beaten the game multiple times. So something like this isn't gonna be too bad. But it's definitely much harder because I can't, you know, P-rank everything first try like I usually do. I die a lot of times, so although this challenge is making things a lot harder, it isn't now, but I know it definitely will later. I think the hardest part in the future is actually going to be the boss fights, because that is what mostly relies on movement. Besides the first two I fought, those are free. Actually, I take it back, not all rooms are going to be super easy, like this one for example. My sliding makes it way harder for me to get around, which also makes it easier for me to get sniped by a bullet. The last rooms weren't too bad, although the acid was pretty annoying. It wasn't too hard. Mind Flayer. Anyways, yeah, that felt way harder than any other level I've had so far. Well, at least enemy-wise. Obstacle-wise, it was pretty easy, but because of the enemies, it was pretty difficult. But now, the bane of my entire being. This room took 20 minutes. Yes, you heard me right. This singular room took 20 minutes to figure out. You might be saying, oh, it's a skill issue, or something like, oh, it's not that bad, it's just one room. It's just one room? I don't think you understand just how garbage this one room is. Alright, I'm gonna say right now, seizure warning, I'm gonna speed up all of this footage and you can just look at it for yourself. I genuinely don't know why this took so long, but oh my gosh. Also, we aren't out of the clear just yet. There's more. Yeah, so I don't know why, but the gameplay is just really awkward. There's nothing really too hard with this stage besides the obstacles, and I'm not gonna lie, I don't really know Gabriel's attacks that well. I kinda just destroy him every single playthrough. So without, you know, too much movement, he is actually kind of a challenge, but besides, like, doing it a few times, it's not really that bad. Yeah, sure, I do die a few times, but I'm not even trying to escape him. When I actually, like, try to... Okay, fine, it's a skill issue. Can we just admit that Gabriel's, like, always easy, though? Like, even in a challenge such as this, he's not it. Okay, ignore that, and ignore the last step, too. That definitely wasn't a skill issue. Anyways, yeah, we killed him. That's it. Yep, that's it. Anyways, yeah, that's it for today. Overall, I really enjoyed this challenge. Although it was pretty easy, I do think the difficulty is definitely going to ramp up a lot in Act 2, so I'm really excited for that. I don't really know what else to say here. Yeah, I am going to make a second part on this, covering all of Act 2, then maybe one on Act 7? Not Act 7, oh my god, Layer 7. So anyways, if you liked the video, I mean, just like it. Don't subscribe. Actually, only subscribe for this playthrough, because I'm most likely not going to make any more ULTRAKILL content after this. Probably not any content at all, so a like would be nice. It helps me. Actually, it doesn't really help me. It just gives me dopamine, I guess. So yeah, that's about it. So yeah.